One of the things I say when people who are stress requires two things, I believe. First is a belief that something's going to happen, and second, that when it happens, it's going to be awful. So attack both of those. The first, give yourself 3-5 reasons why it won't happen. And you immediately feel better because you went from single-mindedly, this thing is going to happen, to, maybe it won't. But the more fun part, fun for me, but not for most people, is to then say, okay, let's assume it does happen. How is that actually an advantage? And when you do that, then you're in a position where it might happen, it might not happen. Either way, I'm going to be fine. And so then you can get on with just being.
So we fall into a state of being not wanted and feeling sorry for ourselves. That's only a state. You don't have to accept it. You're going to a restaurant, you don't say, bring me what the chef wants to get rid of tonight. Bring me a menu.
No one triggers you. You trigger you. When you start to realize nothing is being done to you, you're the one doing it all. That's when you start to liberate yourself. Anyone on the outside who's a trigger is only a trigger you're using. You could say, how I trigger myself is, I see these people and I picture, or I say to myself, or I do this with my body, because that's how it really happens. There's no one to blame. Someone else go by and have the same experience and not be triggered. So you're doing it, but we somehow forgot we're the one in charge here. And then you become enslaved to some pattern instead of waking up to your own true consciousness. No one escapes the extreme stress. The only question is, do you use stress or let stress use you? Do you create more stress by what you do in your own head? Or do you de-stress and move forward and use it as rocket fuel to make your life greater?
Mentally strong people don't do nice things for people who don't treat them with respect. Mentally strong people don't believe every stupid thing they think. Mentally strong people know what they want. Relationships, work, money, physical, emotional, spiritual health. Mentally strong people always ask themselves this one question: does it fit? Does my behavior fit the goals I have for my life?
Repeated thoughts wear a kind of psychic groove in the mind. A groove that gets deeper with every repetition. You see what that means? When you think you can't, and you tell yourself you can't, and you tell other people that you can't, you've made a groove in your mind, psychically. And every time you do that, the groove becomes deeper until ultimately you can't. That is the way it goes.
Choose to believe that it is easy to change a thought or a pattern. What we choose to believe becomes true for us. If you want to believe that change is hard or difficult, then it will be so for you. But that was the old victim stance, and we're moving away from that belief. As you learn to control your mind, you become powerful. In all of life, the only thing we have control over is our current thought. The past is over and done and cannot be changed, except for the way we choose to look at it. The future is being created right now by the thoughts we are choosing to think. Let's choose thoughts that make our future fun and joyful and loving and prosperous and healthy.
Do you know the only energy those brain cells can take on is the same energy it's sending off? The only energy those brain cells can take on is a like energy to that which you're sending off. You focus on the negatives in another person, what kind of energy do you think you're taking on? What kind of a vibration do you think you're in? It might be a wise idea to focus on the good aspects of even the worst situation.
Whatever you want to do, believe it, believe it, believe it, even if you don't believe. Play the game of belief. We can condense time. We can pull it to ourselves. It's not about the future. Oh, I'm going to do something next year. It doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Next hour does not exist. It's all potential. But what we can do is drag the time into the present, now, into the solar plexus. Act as if you believe. That is power. And it will happen. Believe you me. It's worked in my life. It will work in yours. So never give up. Believe, believe, believe. I don't care if you're atheist or agnostic or anything. Believe, believe, believe.
We can only receive when we are up to speed with what we're asking. You can't be a vibrational mismatch. You just have to be in the receiving mode, like the game that we are playing, where you are finding something that you would like to see, and then the universe is delivering it. When you're doing something like that, it softens your resistance on a myriad of subjects and often puts you in the place where other things that you have been resisting begin to flow into your experience.
Nobody changes until they change their energy. When you change your energy, you change your life. It's the way it is. When you stop using your enemy to reaffirm your addiction to hatred, when you stop using your best friend to reaffirm your addiction to suffering, when you stop using your Facebook to reaffirm your addiction to insecurity, when you stop that whole process and you start going inward and you're no longer relying on those outer things to create those emotions, and you start creating those inner emotional states, you start changing your energy. Now, whatever is no longer a vibrational match between you and that past, present reality is going to fall away.
Right.
They're just going to spiral out because you're no longer putting your attention on them. In other words, the stronger the emotion you feel with some problem in your life, the more you give it your attention. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You're giving your power away, your life force, your energy to heal to that person or that problem. Lower the volumes of that emotion, you take your attention off that person, you're calling energy back to you. You have to recondition your body into believing that that future event is happening to you now, because your body, as the unconscious mind, does not know the difference between an actual experience that produces an emotion that you fabricate by thought alone. And you have to change the circuitry in your brain neurologically to look like the event has happened. Then you have to emotionally condition your body into believing that future event is already done. And when your thoughts and feelings are aligned, when your mind and body are working together, you're headed for a new destiny.
Whatever it is that you would like to attract or manifest into your life, so if it's a job that you want, if it's a relationship that you want, if it's a healing that you want, if it's abundance that you want to attract into your life, you must be able to get to this place in your life where you don't use the evidence of your senses. What your eyes tell you, what your ears tell you, what your stomach tells you, what you see written down, what the internet tells you. You want to be able to be in a place where you are living from the end as if what you would like to manifest is already there. To make a future dream a present fact, you must assume the feeling of that wish as already being fulfilled.
Here's how the system works. Everything you could ever ask for, you could ever have now, or ever ask for in the future, you already have right now. You already have all of it. You simply are not experiencing it. Because everything that has ever happened is happening now, and ever will happen is happening right now. And so it is for you merely to reach into the sea of infinite possibilities and call forth the reality you choose now to experience. And you do this through three devices mainly: thought, word, and action. That is, what you say, what you think or believe, and of course what you do.
This is how greatness is created, when you show up to create when you don't feel like it. When you sit with yourself and not allow your mind to go to the past and all the problems and all the things, and instruct your mind to go to that vision of the future, that's a victory. That is the overcoming process. We discovered that when you're sitting with yourself and you go past the point where you would normally stop because of your disbelief, you go past that point, that's when the brain changes the most. That's when you're stepping into the unknown. That is the overcoming process that allows you to become anything, abundant or healthy or whatever it is that people want.
Every single morning, without fail, you rewrite your major goals. After you've done your reading, you rewrite your major goals. Now, this whole process, by the way, can take about 2 minutes, maybe 5. You may get to the point, as I do, where you'll write 10, 20, 30, sometimes even an hour. But you just rewrite your major goals as positive, present tense, personal affirmations. In other words, your goals could be: I earn X number of dollars per month. I weigh X number of pounds. I am outstanding in my field. I do this. I achieve. I accomplish. I choose, so on. Whatever you want to be, have, or do, you just write it out in a series of affirmations, one at a time. Now, you'll find that as you write your goals over and over again, an interesting thing will happen, is that your more important goals will tend to be rewritten first, and they'll tend to become clarified and to become sharper and more distinct. And every single time you rewrite your major goals, you are driving them, you are impressing them deeper into the subconscious, which leads to the guarantee that they will be expressed in your reality. Every time you rewrite your major goals, you're programming them into your subconscious, and you're setting them as a directional mechanism, the same way you would set the directional mechanism on a guided missile, so that it will move you unerringly in the direction of accomplishment.
So if you want to prosper and be successful in life, first of all, reject the idea of poverty. Reject all negative self-definitions. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The Bible says, let the weak say, I am strong. Why? Because whatever you say you are, you will become that. Whatever you say you are, you will remain that. It follows that if you want to be successful and prosperous, let the poor say what? I am prosperous. I am successful.
How does one convince themselves that what they're doing and working on is worth it?
The question of worth it is reliant on an outcome. We don't make these things for an outcome. It's not the mindset to make something great. The outcome happens, you're making the best thing you can make. It's a devotional practice. Whatever happens after that happens. And that part that happens after it is completely out of your control. Putting any energy into that part that's out of your control, it's a waste of time.
No, my dear, make your decision. Even if you're wrong, make a decision. But to be undecided, so that you will not make a mistake. Well, you know that story, it's in Revelation. Would that you were hot or cold. But because you're neither hot nor cold, and that you are lukewarm, I spew you out.
If God can't trust your decisions, He won't trust you with elevation. Some men don't have a timing problem. They have a self-control problem. You want more money, but you still move like someone with nothing to lose. You want leadership, but you still make decisions based on your feelings. God doesn't bless confusion, bro. He blesses conviction. Yo, write this down. Every blessing that you're calling for is going to cost you something that you don't want to let go.
Oh, hold on. Say it a little louder for the person in the back, please.
At least give your best self the same amount of time to build your life that you gave your worst self the time to destroy your life, and then we can talk.
How much do you really want it? And it's going to continue like this until you will ultimately come to the point, and it's going to come quickly, I do think, where you realize for yourself that it's an infinite direction of possibilities. They will never run out, but you will still have to figure out what is it that you really want from your life.
People will say, well, I want to have a mansion, and I would like to have a private jet, and I would like to have a beautiful partner, or I'd like to have a trophy.
Valid, absolutely understandable as well. But I do think that this universe is going to let you realize your lesson in the way how you need it. Yeah, you're going to have your mansion, you're going to have your beautiful wife, you're going to have it all. There is something that's going to put you back on track. There is something that's going to put you back on track, telling you you need to readjust. It's why? Because it has always been like this. We come with nothing. We go with nothing. What does it mean? This universe is going to make sure that you're going to go with nothing, which means at some point before it's time for you to go, you will be faced with the fact of learning the necessity of letting go of what you have attained in this lifetime. And if you have not learned and have not understood that this is going to come, then I think it's a very, very hard awakening. It's a very painful awakening to realize, to have this realization that you have spent 70 years, 80 years following your goal, and now there is no other choice. You have to let go. is not my invention. It's just my observation.